Down the years, the Irish farming community has produced from its ranks poets, playwrights, novelists, and even the odd painter. Now, in sympathy with the mood of the times, it's showband stars. Two of the best known of our pop farmers are Des Kelly and Eamonn Monaghan of the Capitol. Recently, they appeared on the stage of the famous London Palladium, and I'm told felt just as much at home as if they were over at the dairy show in the Olympia. In addition to coming from a farming background, the Capitol men, oddly enough, both studied for degrees in agriculture. I think you met at the UCD, Des.
That's right, Ted. I was in UCG first. I'm from Galway, and I was in UCG, and I started. I had a little band there, and I packed it all up to qualify in agriculture, as I thought, and I went to Dublin to finish off, and that's where I met Eamonn.
We met in third year when we were in the Albert College. This is where we are now.
Well, did you finally get those degrees?
No, we went very close. We went as far as final year. We didn't exactly sit the exams. Just at the time the band was just starting, and it was a choice of the band or the...
Yeah, I think it came at a critical time. You know, it was we just come up to the finals, and the band was just beginning to break through, and we either had to sort of scrap the final and go after the band, or give up the band and try and get the final. So we picked the band.
Well, I think I should ask this question from Eamonn. He looks the more prosperous of the two. Did you make the right decision?
I don't regret it. I think we did, yeah.
Well, what about farming? Do you think there's still a bit of money in farming, Des?
Yeah, well, I think that particularly from the dances, you know, Ted, we're starting. I think we're in touch maybe with the farming community all the time, because we do 90% of our work in the country, and we can see the changes over the last couple of years. Everybody now drives to dances, for one thing. You see very, very few people cycling to dances anymore. I remember, Emma, we were down in Galway there. My brother is a farmer in Galway, and we were down there last week, and we were just talking about that.
Well, of course, in addition to seeing these changes as you move around the country, you also meet a lot of the farmers at the dances, Eamonn.
Oh, we do, yeah. We meet them after dances. You can see it in all over, I think, that
they have a change of attitude.
Yeah, definitely, yes. The standard of living has come up completely.
That's one thing too. I think the young farmers, I think they're far more anxious now to join organisations and that sort of thing. I'd imagine than a few years back. I can see it at home, where I know the people intimately, but all the young farmers at home, I think most of them are in some farming organisation, you know, which I think is a great thing.
Well, dancing is your business, but of course it's the big entertainment all around the countryside.
I think it's the only entertainment really where the country people are concerned. You know, it's
really the only way that boy can meet girl.
That's true.
Well, we hear it criticised a lot that they devote perhaps too much time to it. Would you agree with that, Des?
No, I don't think so at all. I think most country people, they're a little bit reserved, and maybe even a little bit shy, you know. And I think the local dance hall, where they go to, I think they're really at home there. They're comfortable, and it's an atmosphere that they're used to. And I think, as Eamonn says, it is the only way that, well, if the marriage rate ever is to come up in Ireland, I think it is the only way. You know, it is the only way, as Eamonn says, a boy meet girl in Ireland at the moment.
Well, I don't know who I should put this question to, but I'll put it to Eamonn again. Often it was said that, especially by people living in cities and towns, that the country girls weren't just quite as sophisticated as their town cousins. Would you agree with that, Eamonn?
No, I think we were at that point earlier, how things have improved for everybody in general, and I think that the girls just as well. They're just as sophisticated, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're with it too.
Yeah.
What do you? I mean, as regards records and that sort of thing, they're just as with it as anybody in towns. They dress as well, and they know the current pops, and any current trends. They're more than up with it.
Do you find that they're as demanding an audience, say, as a city audience?
They mightn't be as demonstrative, I'd say, you know, but
I'd say it's demanding.
Yeah, you're probably right. They're just as discerning anyway.
Do you count any farmers' daughters amongst your fan club?
Well, we don't actually run the fan club, but I think there's an awful lot of our fan club are from the country, and I'm quite sure farmers' daughters.
So in other words, there's no difference at all, really?
I don't think so. I think it's we played 90% of the country, and they're mostly country people, and we can't see any appreciable difference.
Well, now Stanley Matthews is still playing soccer, and he's 50 years, and I have no doubt you'll be still one of the top pop bands at 50 years. But what after that? Will you finally get that degree?
I'd like to get it. I think it's it's been a sort of an investment, whereas, you know, that, and I feel that maybe it's a matter of pride. I'd like to get it, but I don't know that I'll ever have time to. I think maybe I spent most of my years on a farm, and I've studied for agriculture, and I think that I'd like to go back to some aspect of agriculture when it's all over. But again, I've no definite plans. I'm sure.
And what about Eamonn?
I'll definitely qualify, I think. It may be this year, next year, but I definitely hope to qualify.
Well, Butch Moore, what about you? Have you got anything to do with this farming business?
No, Dad, but just like the farmer, keep an eye on the weather. You know?